So we just cut all of our pieces to their square dimensions here. Now what we need to do is start laying out all of these little hole centers so we know where to position the center of the drill bit when we're drilling these holes. Now what matters most is grain direction. We have this piece here for part B plus the disc. That is still that 8-inch long piece. Our grain direction is running this way. So that's the way we're going to keep that piece. So everything kind of revolves around piece B here. As we go up or down our stack of parts, the grain direction always changes. So if my grain direction is this way with part B, it needs to be going across for part C. Same thing with part A. So grain is going across. Part D is this way, part E this way. And I can do the same thing over here. Part A, if I look over here, grain direction needs to be going this way. Part C, again, grain direction this way. Part D is this way, and E is this way. There is no grain direction with the top and the bottom piece. Those don't matter because that's a plywood product. There is no grain. So this is how we need to position everything. So what I did with my parts here is I stacked them all up. Again, I started with that 8-inch piece, part B, and I knew the grain direction was this way, and I labeled it B. Then I went ahead and started marking out where that 5.5-inch mark is from this back end here, so I know how big that actual square piece is. Then I know I'm going to get my 4-inch disc out of this area right here. I went and marked the center of that 4-inch disc, and I also marked that 5/8 of an inch little hole that's offset from it. We have to have both those in place before we cut out this hole. Notice that I didn't draw out the diameter of that 4-inch disc. The hole saw is going to do that for me. It's a waste of time to sit there and draw it. So then I took piece A, and again the grain direction is going opposite of the piece below it. I marked off the 2-inch diameter hole and the 1/4-inch diameter hole. I'm always marking the center of those, and I labeled it piece A. Then as I go down my stack here, now I've got piece C, and this time I've only got a 1/4-inch diameter hole with the grain direction running this way again. So this way, this way, this way. Then part D, it's labeled. There's no holes on this one, but the grain direction is running up and down. And then piece E, again, no holes on this one, but I labeled it piece E, and the grain direction is the opposite of the one above it. So if I stack them all up, I can double check to make sure. I see end grain on every other one, and I see edge grain on every other one. So I know everything is stacked up and positioned correctly. I've got all of my center of the holes are marked. Now I'm going to center punch them and start drilling them out. Okay, I'm going to start with my 8-inch piece here. I don't want to drill out that disc and then have to worry about clamping it in order to get this 5/8 of an inch diameter hole. So I'm going to start with the 5/8. So I've got all my different drill bits here. I've got a 1/4 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch, a 2-inch bit, and then the big 4-inch hole saw. Best way to do this is put it in one of these vices. Clamp it nice and tight. I'm going to start with my 5/8 bit. With these Forstner bits, it's real easy to take the point here, the center point, and get it into that little dimple you made with the center punch. So I'm just going to position it in there. Then you want to drill straight up and down. I don't want this to tear out on me, so I'm going to take it out of my vise. Now that most of the hole is there, I'm going to put a backing board underneath it. Okay, so now that I got the backing board under there, I'm going to finish off this hole. And we got a nice clean cut hole there. So now I want to go back and do my hole saw cut and do that 4-inch disc. For this one, we never drill all the way through with our first pass. With the hole saw, notice that the center bit here, which is 1/4 of an inch diameter, actually sticks out farther than the hole saw itself. So I'm going to cut through until the center bit pokes all the way through. Then I'm going to unclamp it, flip it over, then I'm going to start coming at it from the other side. With the hole saw, keep it going real slow. You don't want it to grab on there and then jerk on you. Okay, so now I've got that bit poking through the other side. Then you take it out, flip it over, then I'm going to finish it off. So right here is my guide hole. Just going to put that center back into that guide hole and finish sawing the rest of the diameter of this disc. There it is. So once it's through, that disc should stay in the hole saw. Now you can just kind of pry it off there and you got your disc. All you got to do is sand up this extra little material that's left on the edge of the disc. So there we go. We got our little gumball disc. Now what I can do is go back to my miter saw and then cut off this extra material now. For the other two bits, we got a 2-inch and 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to drill both of those out now. So there we go. All of our holes are drilled, and I'm going to go back and cut off the extra part on piece B here. I'm ready for some little touch-ups and little dry fitting. So I just cut off the extra material. My disc should slide in and out of here easily, and B matches the width of C and A. So this is what we've got going on. That's going to slide in there, and this slides in there. Probably have to sand up all of your edges here. And if you look at the plan, it actually says that this axle hole isn't 1/4 of an inch like our hole saw left it. It's actually 5/16 of an inch. So I'm going to go back, put it on my backing board, clamp it down. Now I'm going to drill out that center using my twist drill bit. 5/16 of an inch twist drill bit. I'll give it a little extra play and help that little dowel line up from the hole in C up through the disc and into the hole in A. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that little chunk of dowel down on the miter saw. And when you're cutting dowel material on the miter saw, you got to make sure that it doesn't roll on you. So I'm holding it real tight here. I marked it off for my length. Match up my blade Then I'm going to cut this really slow. Let the blade cut it nice and clean. There you go. There's your little chunk of dowel. You can sand up any of these little burrs and stuff that you might have on the ends. Alright, now let's dry fit everything together with my dowel here. I'm going to take my little pin, and that's going to go down into piece C. Now I can put my disc on, and piece A, just like that. So now, again, you want to make sure that all of the sides and ends are lining up with each other, and that this little wheel here is going to turn just like you want it to. That's good.